righty. Okay, so let's get started. So welcome everyone. This is Redox Nurse Talk. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to hear about this amazing cellular health technology that is a breakthrough that's really changing a lot of people's lives. Cindy and I started Redox Nurse Talk a little over a year and a half ago, and our heart was to be able to, educate people on the technology, not only from a health perspective, but also from a business perspective too, that, both of us are nurses and we both do this on the side. And so it's a way to, earn some residual income. We are independent health associates or research cellular health coaches with, or I should say independent associates with a company. Thankfully ASEA is the only company in the world that has this product, and we'll be talking about this beautiful blue bottle this evening. What you're about to hear, though, is not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure any health condition. And each week we're honored to have a guest on, and so we're thankful that we have Sandy Jones from Happy Valley, Oregon, that'll be interviewed by Cindy in a little bit here. And we encourage you to put your questions in the chat at the end of the interview after Cindy interviews her, and I might have a few questions to ask her. Just put those questions in the chat, and Sandy's is willing to answer those for us. And then we also at the end we record the talk that we're doing this evening, the interview, on our YouTube channel called Redox Nurse Talk. So we really encourage you to go there and please subscribe to it. And then you'll see the recording there. So I guess I forgot, did I say who I was? I don't even know. I'm Doria. I'm an RN here in Atlanta, Georgia, and my awesome partner, Cindy Reed, is from Nashville. So I'm gonna let her take it from here.
Okay, first of all, I want to state our disclaimer that what you're about to see in these videos, this technology does not diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. It just increases the cellular communication throughout your body, so your body will have what it needs to help itself heal. So we have a couple of videos we want to show you. One is about the technology, and if you're new to this and have not seen any videos, then this will give you a demonstration of what this is about, as well as you will hear from some of our medical professionals. Then afterwards, I'm going to show a very short 5-minute video on how the company got started, and you will get to see the heart of this company, which is amazing, as much amazing, if not more, than the product. So let me share my screen, and we will start with the Alan Noble's short video.
Hello, my name is Alan Noble. I've been involved in the health and wellness industry for over 30 years, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to introduce you to a cutting-edge health technology that we call ASEA Redox. ASEA Redox represents a new category in health and wellness that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible. It could not be done. And yet today, health and medical experts around the world are calling ASEA Redox one of the single greatest health science breakthroughs of our lifetime. Now, a great place to get started is to get clear on what ASEA Redox is not. It's not a vitamin, a mineral, an antioxidant supplement. It's not an exotic juice, essential oil, or a CBD oil. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. I'm just saying they're not ASEA Redox. This technology goes beyond nutrition, it goes beyond ingredients, and yet it has the power to impact your health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. For many people, ASEA Redox is the missing link to better health and vitality. Now, to understand this technology, you've got to realize that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells are signaling and communicating critical messages for health, healing, and repair. If there's any breakdown in that signaling, you cannot achieve your full health potential. You see, this signaling impacts every system, every organ, every function of your body. You could say that if your cells can't signal, then little else matters. Now, you've probably heard it said that we live and die at the cellular level. If you want a healthy heart, have healthy heart cells. If you want healthy lungs, have healthy lung cells. Well, as science looks deeper inside your 75 trillion cells, they've discovered a very special set of molecules called redox signaling molecules. These are the molecules that you make that are absolutely foundational for healthy cell signaling throughout your body. However, here's the challenge. With age, diet, stress, toxins, we begin to make less of these redox signaling molecules. And it's about 10% decline every decade. So by age 50, you've about half the signaling that you had when you were younger. And as a result, things just don't work like they used to. You begin to see, you begin to feel the effects of aging. A simple example. Imagine your home's on fire and you call the fire department and they're there with the big red truck, the firefighters, the fire hose. They've got everything they need to put out this fire. But what if you have a bad cell signal? They don't get the message. They don't know what the problem is, where the problem is, how serious the problem is, and your home goes up in smoke. Well, it's the same with your health. So let me ask you a very powerful question. What if? What if you could amplify and clarify this critical cell signal and empower your body to work like it's supposed to? That would be a game changer. So introducing ASEA Redox, the world's first and only cell signaling supplement powered by high energy redox signaling molecules. And since this technology is backed by 7 patents and over 1,000 trade secrets, there's no other supplement like it in the world. Now, not only is ASEA Redox a cell signaling technology, but it also signals at the profound depths of the genetic level. In an 8-week study, it was found that drinking ASEA Redox could increase 5 important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%, positively impacting 5 major areas of health: immune function, inflammatory response, cardiovascular health, digestive health, and even hormone balance. It's also been shown that ASEA Redox significantly impacts the NRF2 pathway, which is the master switch that signals the production of the most powerful antioxidants known to man, including the master antioxidant glutathione. Now, 2 separate university studies showed that ASEA Redox increases NRF2 activation by up to 60%, resulting in an increase of glutathione production by up to 55%. So although ASEA Redox is not your traditional antioxidant supplement, its impact on antioxidant health is nothing short of astonishing. Now, this is just one key on the ASEA piano. ASEA Redox is much more than an NRF2 activator or an antioxidant supplement. Remember, signaling impacts every system, every organ, every function of your body. If your cells can't signal, then little else matters. So at this point, let's hear what health and medical professionals are saying about the ASEA Redox breakthrough.
Inside every cell in your body, you're constantly producing negative and positive molecules called oxidants and reductants. And the contraction of that name is redox.
So with these molecules, we're amping up that communication. We're helping that cell signal.
Without these cell signaling molecules, we simply wouldn't do the gene replication that we need, the DNA sequencing that we need. These redox signaling molecules interact throughout the body with every cell that we know.
Every cell in our body needs these molecules for communication purposes. The more balanced they are, the more abundant they are, the healthier we are.
ASEA actually has the combination of the oxidants and the reductants that the body makes. So all we're doing with ASEA is enhancing what the body is already doing.
Having a product, a technology that's native to the body doesn't have to worry about detoxifying it because it knows exactly what to do with redox molecules. It's one of, if not the safest recommendation I ever make to a patient.
They found a way to stabilize them outside the body. And you can actually put them back into bodies that are deficient in those molecules. That's a game changer.
to have something that at its molecular level is native to the body is nothing short of a breakthrough.
This is something that's foundational for health, for every cell. It affects every cell in our body. And not just the cells, but the very DNA within those cells. You know, we talk about the discovery of DNA as being a huge breakthrough, the discovery of penicillin. Yes, these were absolutely huge discoveries. But now we have something that actually goes even deeper.
So hopefully you're beginning to see why this technology is being hailed as one of the most significant health science breakthroughs of our lifetime. It's empowering people to feel better than ever before. For many, it is the missing link to better health and vitality. And it's not just health. Athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength, and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. In a university study, mice drinking ASEA Redox for only 7 days ran 29% further to exhaustion due to significant metabolic shifts in their bodies as they started to burn more fat as fuel. And so amateur athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are enjoying the ASEA athletic advantage. Now, after another 5 years of research and development, the scientists behind ASEA Redox were able to develop Renew 28, a topical gel that is infused with these powerful high-energy redox signaling molecules. So you've probably heard it said that seeing is believing. Well, when Renew 28 is applied to the skin, it results in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger-looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging. It also improves skin cell renewal rates and increases skin cell blood flow. We also discovered that when you apply Renew 28 to anywhere that hurts, ideally 3 applications in 5 minutes, over 90% of people notice a significant reduction in their discomfort. Now, I do want to point out that we have continued to expand our range of redox signaling products to include an intensive redox serum for those little trouble spots, and then more recently the redox clay mask, combining our redox signaling gel with an ultra-pure bentonite clay. And so headed up by the big blue bottle, this is our cell signaling product division. However, we have 4 product divisions in total. We offer a very clean and effective skincare system called Renew Advanced, high-quality bioavailable nutritionals called ASEA Via, and more recently, fun functional beverages called Cell Performance that address fatigue, brain fog, stress, as well as a vegan amino acid formula that helps your body build its own valuable collagen. Now, of course, the purpose of this video was to introduce you to our remarkable cell signaling technology. Now, we have other videos and websites that go a lot deeper into this health science breakthrough. But for now, I would encourage you to explore some of the other videos on this website. This is where you're going to hear how this technology has impacted people's lives. And some of these stories are absolutely astonishing. Real people sharing real redox results. So this is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today, and bye for now.
Okay, now we're going to watch the ASEA Genesis video. And like I said, this is a very short video. There's a longer version if you'd like to just search it on YouTube. It's about 16 minutes long. But this will talk about our founder, who is Vertus Norton, and it's just really touching. So let me share this and we will start.
I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. I took a degree from the University of Utah, managed some stores for Safeway, and then ended up going to work for General Foods Corporation. I was asked to sit on the board of a small company that had been working on a technology for about 15 years. Numerous patents, a lot of research, and they were actually producing a product using salt and water. And when they told me that, they wanted me to go on their board. I said, well, you're going to have to convince me that this is real. How can you produce something from salt and water? And they said, we have a lot of research, extensive research, $10 or $15 million worth of research.
Vertus agreed to join the board of directors.
So I went to the first board meeting and found out that they were flat out of money. They were $1 million in debt. We said, let's see if we can help them find money. We tried for about 90 days, could not. Eventually, the company folded, and they actually merged it with another company, an energy company. And when that happened, that company started selling off assets. And I said, I am going to put a group of investors together and I'm going to take a run at the company. And over the course of a year, we discovered what the product was and why it worked. We developed what's called the mechanism of action.
They discovered the product was based on redox biochemistry, a new field of science that emerged near the beginning of the 21st century. Redox signaling is a function central to all forms of life. Redox signaling molecules are created within every cell of the body and are vital to the immune system and to cellular repair and replace mechanisms. As one gets older, the body's ability to make these molecules decreases, a function of aging. The product provided a replenishing source of the exact redox signaling molecules the body creates, and in the same balance, enhancing cellular health. Knowing the product's shelf life was essential, Virtus challenged a team of researchers, including Dr. Gary Samuelson, to find a way to stabilize the product.
And finally, after months, he finally came in and said, I think I've got the product stabilized. And we started testing it and found out that he had, in fact, stabilized the product.
After stabilization had been achieved, Virtus met with a group of university scientists.
This is stabilized redox signaling molecules, both positive and negative molecules in the same bottle, stabilized. And they said, how in the world did you do this? So one of the big breakthroughs is the fact that we can stabilize molecules that you're not supposed to be able to do that. The molecules in ASEA are supposed to be fleeting. They should all return to salt and water in just a matter of minutes, and they don't. So we decided to find 40 people and create kind of a focus group, and we started giving it to them. We did that for about 2 months. We said, let's go out and find out where we are with these 40 people. So when we went out and contacted them, we found out that the 40 people had turned into 135, and the product had been shipped to 20 different countries. But in the meantime, we had contacted a friend, and he was running a very big pharmaceutical company in New Jersey, about $10–11 billion. And he finally agreed to send a group of people out and spend some time with us and see what we had come up with. So 4 people flew out on a plane. We spread out all of the research that we had out on a table. They started getting on the phone about noon back east, and they kept doing that, and about 2 o'clock they walked in the room and said, okay, we're convinced you've got something here, and it's significant enough that we will write you a check big enough that you won't want to talk to anybody else. And I said, what's the catch? And they said, you've got to shut it down. And I said, shut what down? And they said, you've got 135 people on this product right now, shut it down. People have problems all the time and they deal with them as best they can. You're going to have to walk away. And that kind of took us back a little bit. In fact, I said, that seems a little harsh to me. And they said, you want to work with us, you walk away.
ASEA LLC opened its doors for business in July 2009, with just a handful of independent associates. Today, there are tens of thousands, and their ranks are growing exponentially every month. In 2012, the company announced its entry into Europe, the first of many international steps to come.
My wife questions why I'm doing this. She said, you've retired more than once and it's time for you to join me and let's enjoy the golden years, if you will. But recently, a young lady came up and she broke down and started sobbing. And she had a health challenge in her family that was really severe. And she was introduced to ASEA. And because of what ASEA did, she was just grateful. So I find it hard to talk about, but that's a reason.
Like I said, if there's a longer version that goes into a little more detail about the company, and it's just really amazing, but it hits you in the heart every time you see that. So I don't know if you caught the thing there kind of toward the end where the pharmaceutical company was going to offer them a big check, but they said you have to shut this down. So that should tell you something there. Think about it, the pharmaceutical company. So I will leave you to think about that. But I will introduce our guest for tonight, and we're excited to have Sandy Jones from Happy Valley, Oregon. And I told her, I said, that sounds like the most beautiful, idyllic place to live. I'd love to go there one day in Oregon. So Sandy is a martial artist. She has several black belts, so don't make her mad. She also is a massage therapist, a machinist, a professional house cleaner, and a Redox educator and an entrepreneur. So Sandy, we talked the other night, and she really has such an amazing story. And like Doria called it, a story of redemption. It really is. So Sandy, I'm just going to let you open and unmute yourself and just tell us how you were introduced to this technology and a little bit about your results with it or family members' results, and just tell us your story.
Okay. Yeah, my story is a little different than most, but I hope somebody gets some encouragement out of it. So, I think I'm a martial artist. One of my high school teachers opened a karate school, and I was 18, and I joined, and I gravitated toward the healing arts side of things. I just love people, and I love energy and stuff, and so in the school there was I learned about shiatsu, which is like finger pressure, working with the energy and healing like that, traditional Chinese medicine, flower arranging, just all kinds of stuff like that, really cool stuff. And so I grew in my school, and eventually became a sensei in the school, and I was teaching at the local grade schools, community school, 6 through K. And somebody said, "Hey, you got a pretty special touch. You should you should be a masseuse." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, maybe I should." So I was putting myself through Oregon School of Massage. Didn't quite make it through all the classes, kind of ran out of money, and didn't quite get the last class done. But anyway, I was buying my own little house and teaching in my school, and learn lots of stuff about energy. And once I didn't make it through the massage school, all the classes, and somebody said, "Hey, I'm doing this Touch for Health class. You should come check it out." And I said, "Yeah, I will." So that was very interesting. It was it's to do with muscle testing. How you test the energy that flows through the muscles, and you test them to see how the energy is flowing through, and it has to do with nutrition and water. And so I really learned how energy connects and how it flows through the body, where it flows through the body. And I just love to connect my energy with other people's energy, and help them if they could help them in some way, better their health. And I was just into anything like that. And I was just, full of love and life, and just wanted to heal the world and everybody around me and in it. And then I had kind of I will call it a emotional trauma. Relationship ended that I was very committed to, and it left me feeling sad and heartbroken. And I didn't want to touch anybody, heal anybody, because I was hurting myself. And so I turned to drugs to self-medicate. And it was kind of a dark thing. But the friends of mine that I got it from said, "Hey, we'll give you all you want. You can sell it, and you don't have to pay for it." And I said, "That sounds like a fantastic idea." And and so I did that for a while, and it actually was kind of okay until it wasn't. It eventually led to a life of addiction and emptiness, and with I thought, "Oh, this is great. I can go party with a bunch of other broken people and don't have to feel my feelings, don't have to feel hurt anymore. And yeah, so after it was fun and useful for a while, it wasn't. It eventually led to a life of addiction and in and out of the justice system, some jail and felonies and it wasn't so good. Then, as God would have it, one of the justice system mandated me to a 12-step recovery program, and my life started coming back to life. I met a bunch of people that were doing life in a different way. I was always healthy. I still kept my health through all that, but yeah, and I really love the fellowship and the people, and I really like to do the stuff like the conventions and campouts and being on committees that put these things together, working together as a team to make something happen to better other people's lives. And just love being of service. And so then I was ready to go back into the workforce instead of being a drug dealer, which is illegal and all my problems caused from. And so I go to look for a job, and it's like nobody hires felons. If you've got a record, almost nobody will hire you. And it's like, how do people do this? How do they get back into life? Anyway, but a friend of mine said, I ran into a friend of mine, and he said, hey, we don't care about your record. Go talk to this guy, tell him I sent you, he'll hire you. So I said, yay. So I got a job as a machinist, and I grew with that company. And when they started, they had like 10 employees. By the time I got fired, they had like 75. So I grew and trained all the people on the saws. I was the head of the saw department. And one day they called me in and said, hey, we don't think you're happy anymore here. Bye, Felicia. So no control over that. So back to the job search I go, and still nobody hires people with records, no matter what your life's like. And then another friend of mine, and she said, hey, I work for a house cleaning company, and you go talk to these people, they'll hire you. So I said, okay. So I did, and they hired me, and I became their lead trainer and worked there for like 5 years. And then one day they said, somebody that you trained did damage to somebody's property, we're gonna have to let you go. And I was just so tired of the corporate world. You have no control over, they can fire you at any time for any reason. And then I thought, well, I'm gonna get back to what I love to do. I love to touch people and heal, and I want to have a purpose. And so I'm gonna go back to college and get my massage license, open my own practice. So I go to a accredited college here locally, and go through all the process of getting into this college. And guess what? They don't give loans, and they don't accept you into a college if you have a record, if you have felonies on your record. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not gonna work. So I prayed, Lord, what am I gonna do now? Bring me something where I can have purpose in my life, where I can help people with their health, help people, some kind of love energy thing. And I was also in a personal development program, and because I was getting back to some joy in my life. And there was I was on a international group conference call, and a lady locally here announced herself, and I'm like, hey, lady from Newburgh, I'm in Oregon City, Oregon, whatever, let's connect. So we connected, and we got to talking, and she's like, you know anything about network marketing? I'm like, well, no, I really don't. what's that about? And she said, well, if I send you a couple videos, will you take a look at them? I'm like, well, yeah, sure. So she sent me one much like the one you played, Alan Noble's. It was the breakthrough video, and I saw the science, and it just made sense. It's like I knew about energy and how it connects and balances our body. I knew that you could test muscles and normalize unbalanced things, and I saw that video and I went, that's where the energy comes from. I never thought about where the energy comes from that I work with people, but then that makes sense. And it being super clean and just made from salt and water, it's like, well, that makes sense. Our cells are little sacks of salt water. And then I watched the Genesis video, the full one of the one you showed me, and I just went, these are the people I want to be part of this. And at that point I was unemployed. I was on unemployment, and was looking for something with purpose that I could make money with, that I could help people. And that's what God sent me. He sent me ASEA, that's the Redox. And so from there, I knew I wanted to be part of this. I didn't know how, anything about anything, but I think she gave me her website to sign up. So she did get me on a connect call with somebody, and he explained to me, I was asking, okay, well, how much is to get started? And he was like, I wanted to do the business. So it was like, the medium pack was something I could do, and it was $500. I was like, eek, that's about what I got in the bank right now. And I also wanted it for my mom. My mom we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I knew I wanted this for my mom, and I knew I wanted to be part of it. And so I finally just decided, my mom was starting to get a little sicker, so I decided I have to do this. I just have to pull the cord, and so I just signed myself up. I went to her website and just signed myself up. And then I called her and said, hey, I'm all signed up. What do I got to do now? And she's like, well, don't ask me. I'm not interested in the business. You're on your own. So there was that. But she did introduce me to the charge up call. It was a Monday through Friday call that they had that Trish Swinkler hosted, and they went through the little process of, what do? Your attitude, make a list, invite, follow up, and teach people to do the same. And that was very much like in my karate school. We were taught to, number one, if you didn't know somebody in the room, introduce yourself, get to know them, find out about them, and when you learn something, teach it to somebody else. That was just instilled in me, because I've been involved with that for now 40 plus years now, but I was into it like 10 years at that time. But yeah, so she introduced me to the charge up call, and I just started listening to the charge up call and announcing myself and getting to know people, and people started to hear my name on the call. And yeah, that's kind of how I got introduced, and a little bit about my story.
Hang on, sorry, I was muted. Okay, Sandy, so when we were talking the other day, you mentioned obviously the person that got you in just kind of left you hanging, which is not what we normally do, what we should do. But occasionally there are people that just don't want to work the business. But so you told me you were introduced to another couple, maybe in your area or in Idaho, were they maybe, or I can't remember, Dick and Nancy?
Yeah, well, everybody was just so kind and so nice and so welcoming, and everybody was willing to help. I was kind of like a orphan. I didn't know who my upline was, or even what that was. But yeah, everybody was just so kind and welcoming. It didn't matter, who I was, if I was in their line or whatever. And and I also learned a lot from the charge up call, just the process of how to do this, and I thought, this is so great. I understand it. It makes so much sense. Everybody's just going to jump right in with me, and, everybody's just going to get it too. Yeah, so you learn perseverance, because I thought all my people that knew all about all my karate people that know about the energy and the stuff, I thought they would just get it too, and I would just get no, 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 no. And it can be a little disheartening, but sometimes you get that yes, and you change somebody else's life, and it's so amazing. But yes, everybody was just so nice and kind, and it's the people. I didn't have any health issues. My mom did, but I didn't. But I want to take care of myself, and I want to, I'm interested in all that stuff, nutrition and water and breathing and connection with other people, which was my main thing. I needed purpose. And yeah, they all just welcomed me in, invited me to their team calls, and then the first convention came up. That was in 2014 is when I very first started, and in like the April of the next year was the first ASEA convention, and I didn't know. I bought my ticket. I didn't know how I was going to get there, where I was going to stay, anything like that, but I knew I was going. And I think it was, I said something on the charge up call, and I think it was Peg Coates that said, "You don't worry about it. You just get yourself there. We'll find a place for you," and they did. They put me in with I got put in a room with a group of women from, actually just from Oregon here, but and then everybody was just so real and kind, and at this convention, I think that was the last convention that Vertus Norton was at, so I did get to meet Vertus Norton a little bit, and I got to meet Gary Samuelson. I got to have quite a long conversation with him, the atomic medical physicist that stabilized the molecules. And man, what a real beautiful person. You could just, he took the time. I watched him take the time to talk to, there was a big line of people waiting to talk to him, take the time to look into each person's eye and connect with them. And everybody was just thanking him. And he took the time to talk to every one of those people, including me at the very end. And then coming from the stage, I'd never been to other network marketing conventions, but I understand that there's a lot of hype and rah-rah, and we got big houses and cars and blah, blah, blah. And everybody, and the ethos of this company, that's when I first heard Tyler Norton talking of the ethos of this company. And I was just like, this is my home. These are my people. I have a purpose. And yeah, so there's that.
That's awesome. So tell us about your mom's experience with the Redox.
Yes. So when I first heard about it, I knew that I had to get, when she was 87 years old, she was in assisted living. She had pretty severe memory issues. She would just ask me the same question over and over and over again, and I would just love her and answer her question over and over again. And she was always just sharp and witty. She was like everybody's mom. She was just a lovely person, best mom in the world. And so her memory was declining. She was in assisted living, and I was actually her caregiver before she went into assisted living, and so I had her blood sugar issues pretty much controlled with diet and stuff like that. So she had the blood sugar issues, and while she was in the assisted living, of course, I didn't have any control over diet anymore. And so her blood sugar started getting worse. Her memory was declining quite a bit. And then she started getting UTIs, and they would just give her the antibiotics, and she was getting like every other month. And then she got done. She was getting fluid around her heart, and they would give her stuff to dry it up, and then her kidneys would start to fail. So she's kind of had this stuff going on, and finally she got, you know, real sick and had to go in the hospital, and everything was just all out of whack. And at this point, I was like, I got to get her on the ASEA. And so when I took her to her follow up at her regular doctor's, I said, look, doc. Now, first I went up there to the assisted living. I said, look, I want to get my mom on this stuff. What do I got to do? And they're like, we can't just give her anything. There has to be an order from her doctor. So I said, okay. So I go take her to her doctor's appointment. I said, look, doc, I need to get my mom on this stuff. What do I got to do? And he says, oh, well, what is it? And I said, he says, you know, I'm a doctor. I prescribe medicines. You know, that's what we do. And he said, but I'll take a look at it, and I'll let you know when after her next appointment or whatever. So he calls me back a couple of days later, says, I took a look at this stuff. I don't think it'll help, but I don't think it'll hurt. So I'll go ahead and put the order up to her assisted living place. So I was to take it up to her. I took her a bottle every week and gave them marching orders to give her 2 ounces before breakfast, 2 ounces before dinner. And I went up to have dinner with her. I don't think it was a week later, and had a normal conversation with her. She wasn't asking me the same question over and over again. The light was back in her eyes, the color was back in her face, and she was funny. And you know, she wasn't perfect. She was still old, and you know, she walked with a walker and stuff. But you know, so that was the first thing that I saw, and this was around Christmas time. And so we were taking her to my family's for Christmas dinner, and it's a split level house, and we literally had to carry her up the stairs and set her in the family place to have our Christmas. And then comes Mother's Day, and I'm calling him saying, get ready, I'm bringing mom over. So I bring her over there, and she literally walked up the stairs by herself. She's like, I got this. Up the stairs she went, all by herself. And that just doesn't happen for somebody that's, you know, someone that's old. And over the next 3 years that she was alive, she was off all the blood sugar medicine. She never had another UTI, and you know, she wasn't perfect, but yeah. And finally, I think it was, you know, like 3 years later, she actually she fell and broke her hip twice. She fell once and broke her hip, and it healed up fine. And then like a year later, she fell again and broke her hip again, and this time she had to have surgery, and she never really fully recovered from the anesthesia, and so that's how she passed. So what I know is I gave her the best quality of life I could for the last of her years that she was here with us. So there's that story.
That's a cool story.
And I got my mother back.
Exactly. And every day you can have them. It's one more day, you know.
Yes.
That's amazing. So Sandy, I know, and we all struggle with this. Sometimes people don't want to accept it, and they don't understand it, and they want to take it to their doctor. They want to do the research. You know, I tell people, I just wish you would do as much research on those pills you walk out with from your doctor as you do with something that's native to your body and non-toxic. But, you know, in time, people are going to see. So if you had someone come to you and they didn't understand or they didn't believe it, what would you say to them?
Well, if I can't get them on the phone with somebody, like, you know, anybody that can share their story,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like Heather Norton says, you know, leave your sister alone, love them alone. You know,
Right.
Some people will get it, some people won't. The ones that do are blessed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're here to bless and change lives, not change people's eye color.
That's right.
You know? I've got a sister that, you know, saw all that happen with my mom, but she won't even talk about it. But she has a cat that had a problem, that had a thing on its ear, and she was looking at a $5,000 surgery, and she's like, "You think it'll help my cat?" "Oh yes, of course it will. I think it will. Can try." So she did, and she gives it to her cat and her dog, but she won't have anything to do with it. So
Yeah,
people are funny.
That is kind of funny and sad at the same time.
Yes, it is kind of funny and sad.
Your story has just been amazing, Cindy, and I appreciate just you sharing from the heart. And you are a testimony for whoever may hear this and whoever may watch the recording, because you've struggled with several things in your life. And this shows that, you don't have to have a corporate job. You can do other things out there.
No.
You've just got to be motivated. You've got to figure out what your why is and how badly you want it, and go for it.
And like Denny Robinson says, it doesn't matter if you're from jail or from Yale, we've got a place for you here.
Exactly. I love it.
As long as you've got a heart to want to make this world a better place, we're here to bless and change lives. And not everybody wants their life blessed or changed. That's just a sad fact.
It is. Well,
I would like to share my one testimony that I have.
Okay, sure.
It was pretty amazing. So when I very first got my Redox, I had been on a whitewater rafting trip, and I jumped off the raft and hit my shin on a sharp rock, put a big old goose egg on my shin, and it hurt. And so it was like 10 days later when I got my very first ASEA. And by that time, my leg was black and blue and purple and green all the way from my knee, clear down underneath my foot. It was just all nasty, discolored. And so I got my first ASEA, and I actually was kind of like feeling the energy and blessing the bottle or whatever, and my leg tingled, and I went, "That's weird." And it came with a little spray bottle at that time. Didn't have Renew 28 yet. And so I poured my little 2 ounces and drank it, and got my little spray bottle out and sprayed my leg down, and went to a meeting and went and did a little run or something like that. I came back home and looked down, and my leg was normal color. All that bruising, all that superficial bruising was gone. And I went, wow, that happened. I wish I had had a camera phone at that time. But yeah, the big bump and the deep bone bruise was still there, but all that discoloring was just gone.
And I think we're learning more and more about what these molecules can do, whether it's the liquid or the gel or the mask, whatever. I'm going to turn this over to Doria to see if she has any questions for you, Sandy. And I appreciate you sharing and allowing me to interview you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I'm so grateful for you.
Well, I don't have any other questions. I just have a few comments and statements. I know God put this in your heart, many, probably before you were even, created. I mean, when you were created in your mother's womb, it was probably already instilled in your heart that you knew that you wanted to make a difference in the world. And just your tenacity, and you stated your perseverance, you just took, I have a friend that says, pick up your bootstraps and just get going. And so, what you have gone through were milestones, even though they were difficulties that you walked through, but none of that is wasted in your life. It just, catapulted you to the next step, and then to the next step, even though, you worked in that one little area and then it didn't work out. And then, the little doors were opening up for you, which I was really, it's just really neat. And not many people would keep on going and persevering like you did. You had that tenacity because again, you just knew in your heart that you wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And I think, I'm thankful for the person. I mean, the person just came right out and said, "Would you know anything about network marketing?" Didn't even talk to you about the product or anything like that. But maybe that was a godsend, because you were looking for something and you didn't know what it was. And you go to this meeting and find out about this product, which you have some knowledge about, from studying, the energy, having a little bit of understanding of what that is. But, I think, and I'm not sure how many people on the call this evening are, new to if you can raise your hand or whatever, if you're new to our hearing about what this technology is, we always say get back to the person that, shared this with you. But if you all are associates, don't discount anyone, because you don't know what their story is, and, it's an honor, and it's important for us to share this with everyone that we come in contact with, because you don't know what their story is. And that's why when I talked to you on the phone and you shared this with me, I said it's redemption. It's a redemption to hope, because unfortunately the secular world, the corporate world, wasn't accepting that. And it's just really sad that you weren't able to get a loan, but God had something better for you, here,
Absolutely.
where you can help the masses. And so I'm just, your story is going to touch a lot of people's lives, as they listen to the recording. So thank you for your transparency, and share it, because I know sometimes it's hard to share stories like that. So thank you.
I've got one little quick thing to share, if I may. One of the people that was so kind and helpful to me is right on this call. Her name is Diane Gadba. She's right there. But she, when at my mother's assisted living place, they saw the changes in her and they asked me about it. And I'm like, started to plan it. She's like, don't explain it. She says, we're going to have a staff meeting here next month, and why don't you just come and do a presentation for us? I'm like, okay. And I found Diane Gadbach, because God made it that way. And she came and helped me do that presentation. And I'm very grateful for that, because she was one of those very kind people, and she still is. We live close together, and we're going to be doing a workshop or whatever at her church this coming Saturday. So I just wanted to give that a shout out to Diane, because I love her so much. Mm-hmm. And if you don't think God's hands on this company and this product and these people, look again. When it had to be divine, it had to be divine providence that brought all this together, because there's just no other way it could happen.
You're so right. And Sandy,
and I've got a quote to share with you.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. God gave you a fingerprint that no one else has, so you can leave an imprint that no one else can.
I love it.
So if you think you got something to offer, you do.
Yes, we all do. We all do. Well, I appreciate so much for you sharing that, Sandy. And I know there's comments all in the chat. I don't know if you have yours open up. It says that we're touched by your story. Wow, God bless. That makes me cry. You have some great comments in there. So Sandy, we will upload this, like I said, to YouTube. It will be on probably late tonight or in the morning anyway. So, and we have a guest for next week. We'll go ahead and announce that. Dory, do you want me to?
Yeah, that's sure. We have Veronica Burke. So many of you know her husband, Sean Burke, who is a veteran athlete, but we wanted to hear her story, her testimony. We had Erin Latham on several months ago. She's like the backbone for Terry Latham. So we wanted to hear more about what Veronica, her testimony, and she's a holistic entrepreneur. Of course, she shares the C of Redox. So that's who's going to be with us next week.
Well, we appreciate everyone coming. And again, Sandy, you go and have a blessed day. We're going to see you walking across that stage one day. So you just keep pushing, girl. You keep talking to people, sharing your story.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies.
We'll stop the